Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Micks Mowers, and in today's episode we're going to be taking a little look at this HS45 Stihl Hedge trimmer. This belongs to a friend of mine called Luke. He's a professional lawn care guy. He purchased that hedge trimmer off me either last year or year before, can't quite remember now. But he's saying it's becoming a bit of a pickle to start. So I picked up the service kit. You get the air filters, you get the fuel filter, spark plug as part of a standard kit, and he said he wants a blaze doing as well, but we'll have a look at the blaze once we get it serviced, see how it's cutting. They may not require doing, they don't look too bad. He did say he did hit something, but I'm not seeing much evidence of it, so I don't want to be charging a man for sharpening blades if I don't need it. So we'll have a look at that. Also, the new Micks Mowers t-shirts are in, which I've ordered off of eBay just the other day. They've got the Micks Mowers logo on the front, which I'm happy with, and also on the back as well. Nice big Micks Mowers logo on the back, so super happy with those. Also, had a bit of posting, and I've got two stickers. I've got the new JJ's Motors, Mowers and Machines sticker come in, the slightly bigger one. I've already got two of Jason's, but that's the next one in, the next one up. And also very lucky to get hold of the new Retro Restore sticker off of the Martin Butler's channels that he runs 3 channels. This is the Retro Restore one, so that's super cool. I'll be putting them on the toolbox very shortly, so that's cool. So apart from that, let's get down and dirty and let's check out this HS45 hedge trimmer. Right, here's the hedge trimmer itself. Let's bring it down your way a smidge so you get a better shot of it, rather than working it all at the top of the bench. And what I do is I think I'll just put you up in the air a smidge as well, just to give you a better view of it. How does that suit you? Somewhere there. So the first thing I want to do is change the fuel filter. I actually managed to locate my forceps the other day. They're gone for a Burton, but they were actually in my spanner side of the old toolbox. I don't know what they're doing in there. So that pops out with a bit of manoeuvring, and then down here inside we should have the fuel filter, which we don't give you a lot of room with these Stihls to manoeuvre them out. I don't want to pull too hard on it. That's about as far as they go. And simply untwist that off. Might get a pair of clips on it. The pipe's in good condition, so I don't want to be pulling it about too much. I don't want to damage it. Here it goes. That's the old one off. Just keep hold of it. That's where these circlips, these clips come in really handy, because you can then let go of it. They don't go far. And then the new one simply goes on. Drop it back in the tank. All good. No leaks. Not doing anything it shouldn't be doing. So just want to make sure that's all in place, which it is. So that's quick and easy. With that done, we can now take the filter off. Oh my lord. There's a filter. It's only got the square one in there, hasn't actually got the proper one in it. So I want to take this filter off with this air bottle. It's absolutely covered in stuff. So that might be part of the reason why it's not running as well as it perhaps could do. Just want to try and find a 10mm nut driver, or 8mm. What's that? It should be this one here, which I'll put a bit of cotton wool in the bottom of it, just so I can put the nut back in later on. So just undo those. Hopefully it doesn't need a carburetor clean, but it is absolutely full of stuff in here. I'll show you in 2 ticks. So it's got stuff in it, it's been sucking much air in as well. So that's what the airbox looks like, absolutely full of gear in there. So that's got to all come out. That's no good to no one. So gently remove that without disturbing any gaskets. There's nothing actually in the throat of the carburetor I can see, but that wants a good clean. So I'll give it a good clean off first before I do anything, and then I'll give it a spray on the top here just to get rid of some of this muck. But it looks pretty good. Just wants to get rid of some of this gear. Right, I've just cleaned off the airbox and also sprayed the top of the carburetor off with a bit of tissue covering the throat of the carburetor, and that's now much cleaner inside. And we'll now actually be doing the job it should be doing. It's going to go that way, like so. Oh no, wrong way around. Donut. Oh, it's not. No, was me. That goes on there, and then we'll put the nuts back on. As I say, I put a bit of cotton wool on the top of my one there, so when you put the nut in, it only goes so far. So let's put that one back on. If you don't do it with the nut driver, it'll fall down inside the nut driver, and you'll never get it to connect properly. So. Do them up. Helps clean off inside there as well. I'll just blow that off very quickly. Okay, that's now that all been cleaned off. As clean as I can get it. Next thing we want to do is bring in, we've got two filters here. The first one is this kiddie here, which should go that way. Oh, hang on. Yeah, it should go that way. So that goes in like so. Okay, and then this filter can then go on top of that, but it's the wrong shape. Okay, so what I want to do, it fits in there quite well, but it's actually the wrong shape to kiss up nice and tight. So what I like to do with mine is take that back out. Let's grab a Stanley blade. I don't want to damage it. Take that back out. And then all I'm going to do is just going to cut around that filter, because on Stihl ones they should be combined, but I asked for genuine Stihl products, and this is what they sent me, and these are not genuine. So what I do is literally just marry it up and then trim it to suit. Just so it fits a bit better. So when that goes back in now, you've got that one there, and then that one there will go onto there. I'll make a little tiny hole, which would be about there, just with the old scissors. Little tiny hole. That will then sit up on there. When it goes over, that's it. And that will then sit on there much better. That all goes on, pushes tight and shuts up. So there's no way you're going to get any more gunk in there than what's necessary. What I'm also going to do is do a spark plug now. So I've got a new plug. This should be the right one for it. That was sent me, which is a BMR7A. Right, let's have this spark plug. That actually feels loose. Oh, I can't get to that. But that spark plug actually feels, this is just me, it feels quite loose. That might be why there's a bit of a pickle. Oh, to start. Can't get that off. There it goes. Let's have a look. Yeah, look. The spark plug's loose. So that might be why it was a bit of a pickle to start. It might have been having not so much compression as he would like. There it comes. That guard's right in the way, isn't it? Here he comes. Good Lord. Yeah, that's not helping. Should be changing spark plugs more regularly, Lukey boy. Spark plugs are good for about, they recommend about 100 hours, give or take. And what we've got in here, we've got a BP MR7A, which is an NGK. And what we've got, MR7A, yeah, same spark plug, which is good. Just going to gap it to the right gap. That's Mrs. P come for a quick chat. She's off out. Hopefully going to get her car fixed because the old I'll tell you in a minute what it is. I will tell you in a minute. My lord, air conditioning's packed up on Mrs. P's car. And that ain't no good. It's still very big. Better. Right, that's set properly as it should be, and what we do, Luke, is we're actually going to put this spark plug in all the way, and hopefully it will do up all the way. If I can get something in there to fit it, 2 ticks. That's better. So let's do that up all the way home. Make sure it's tight. Don't want to strip the old threads, but no, it's going. Super job, not loose. So that should help it. Right, so it's had new filter, new spark plug gap correctly, and new fuel filter. That tank's a little bit smidgen loose as well. And this is all part of the service, people. Is if you come across issues, you got to sort these issues. So the tank does have an anti-vibration on it, but make sure that everything is tight as it should be. That's better. As you come across these issues, you should be fixing them. Next thing I want to do, I want to have the pull cord off. Just to put a bit of oil up inside the pull cord. That's the wrong size. So I'll have the pull cord off, give it a squirt of grease up inside there, and a bit of a clean up. We'll check the pull cord for condition as well, because there's no point in servicing a bit of kit and then he takes it away with him, and the first time he goes out the pull cord snaps, because that would be no good and make me look like a bit of a fool. And then we'll try and start it to see if it starts any better. He was having problems with it, or it become a bit tricky to start, he said. I can't remember when he bought this off me actually. It might have been at the beginning of this season, because he bought this off me. He bought an HRX476 and a Honda Izzy off of me, because he was running B&Q specials and he was visiting my shop on a regular basis. Stuff overheating and not working as well as perhaps it could do. And down here. So he bit the bullet last year, and he invested quite a bit of money in some equipment. And I think the Honda Izzy's now starting to rust through, which they do on the Izzy's. But the HRX is okay. So it wants a bit of a clean up in here. Where's the magnet? There she is. I'll give the old magnet clean. There's a bit of grease on a magnet, and give that a bit of a grease up as well, a bit of a clean up. Spray a bit of grease in here, and all I'm doing on this is as I pull the cord, I'm just checking the condition of the cord. Generally they fray right at the end. but no, that's really good condition. In fact, I think I put a new portal in here a couple of years ago, so that's in good nick. I'll give it a bit of a spray with the old WD-40. Just run that in. Just give it a bit of a happy birthday. Let that sit in a little bath of WD-40 for a while. You can use spray grease and that sort of good stuff. So, a bit of carb cleaner on there. And a wire brush. Which is, I've got 2 or 3 wire brushes now. And then my magnet, just to pick up any bits of stuff I've got in there. Let me just find my magnet. Should be in the top of my tool chest somewhere. There she is. Just to pick up any bits that have come adrift from the wire brush. There's a bit there which I won't get, because the magnet on the flywheel is actually stronger than my magnet. There's a bit just there as well. This again. There it is. Give that a clean, and you'll see what comes off of this magnet flywheel. See, all that dust, all that dirt come off there. Nice clean magnet now, which is good. So I'll give us a bit of a clean up in here. WD-40, carb cleaner, just a bit of a happy birthday, just to clean the area up. And I'll compress that off and then I'll come back. Okay, that's a bit of compress off now, a bit of a clean. All the fins are quite good, they're not bunged up with stuff. And also, you know, with these fins here, this is what also cools the engine also. If you look on a domestic fan in your house, they get covered in like bits of human skin, really, effectively, dust and skin and crap, you know. If they get furred over, if they get furred over, they don't do their job as well as what they can do if they're clean. So the pull cord's now had a bit of a WD-40 bath, just to soak up all that stuff, make it clean, make it run a bit better. And now it hasn't got that rattle it had before. So that's all good. That will now go back on. And then you've got 4 or 5 of these Torx bolts to put back in. Now what's important is that some of these have wide threads and some have narrow threads. The narrow threads are the ones that go into metal, and and these big ones, they're the ones that go into the plastic only. So anywhere where there's plastic only, which would be this one and this one, they have the wider screws, and the metal ones are these 2 here and this one here. And it makes a difference. So the metal one goes in there, and in there, and the plastic ones, which are the wider threads, go in that one there and that one down there. So make sure you get them around the right way, otherwise you'll have problems. So I'll get this wound up and I'll come back to you. Right, good. Let's go for a fire up. I can't put it on my table because I have a lawnmower on my table in bits currently. I just want to fire it up, see how it runs, and see how it starts or what have you, before I do the gearbox on it. So let's give it some primes. Carburetor primes quite well. Let's choke it, which would be that one there. turn it on, should be that one there, and we'll see how we get on. Oh, it's got a throttle lock on it, I forgot that. Yep, that's fine. No problems with that. I think his starting issue was because the spark plug was half hanging out. That would have something to do with it, definitely. So next thing I want to do is tip this machine up on its side. I'll do it fuel tank side up. Just want to check to see what the gearbox looks like, and it's just literally undoing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these torque screws. Undo them 6, that plate will drop out, and then you'll be exposed all the gearing to see what the grease looks like. I'm hoping the grease looks okay. It could do a little bit of a throttle adjustment on here as well. That's a little bit slack, it's not too bad, but it started up okay. For a two-stroker, don't forget two-strokers are reasonably tricky to start if you're not fully experienced in starting them. Oh, that was on there. So I'm just going to crack these off. And then we'll have a little sneaky peek inside the plate to see how we're doing for grease. And all I'll do is, if it does need the grease, because I don't have a grease gun, all I'll do is I'll take the grease out if it needs doing, and then just pack new grease in. Gently, gently. They're all the same length and all the same threads because it all goes into cast. That one. And then one more. And you have a plate. You should have two plates on here, I think, on the top of my head. Let me get some gloves on because this is going to be greasy. My gloves are here. 2 seconds, people. Let me put it out of the way a bit. One of the worst things to work with is grease. Once you start getting it on your hands, it's on your hands all day long, all over your tools. And that plate just comes away. Yeah, not a lot of grease in there at all for what there is, and what is in there is not good. It's all been cooking. All that grease is all old. It's no good for anything. It's had it. So what we do is we're going to take all this out and then replace it with brand new lovely grease. The cogs look good. The main problem with these ones, these trimmers, is that this main cog starts to deteriorate. And I can get pretty much most of this grease out without removing the teeth. To remove the teeth is relatively easy. Just take this little tiny plate out here, This one that pops out. Undo these, and the whole lot will just come off. It works like a off-centered cam device as you rotate the blades. This little cog here rotates off-centered. So I'm just going to give it a bit of clean up, get some new grease, pack it up in there, because that's all cooked. No good for nothing. And that's why I need to get myself a grease gun. So I'm going to put it out on my wish list. If anyone wants to buy me a new grease gun. Bit of rotating and fish it all out. So this is going to take me a little while to get all this grease out. So come back to me in a minute, and I'll have it all put back together with fresh grease in there. And away we go. Right, now as you can see, I've now greased up fully. Let me show you. Now greased up fully the internals. It's all been packed up with nice grease all the way around, exactly how it should be. It may even make the machine run a bit better too, especially quieter, because it's not rattling around so much in there. So all we now need to do is just hang the gasket and plate back on. Just get a few started, just to centralise the gasket so it don't drop down. Bung a few in, and then we'll get them tightened up, and I'll come back to you. Okay, that's the back plate now done. Just want to wipe off some of these tools, because as I said, you get grease on them. I've got grease on these Torx bits. If you don't take them off, they'll be on other tools. A bit of a wipe off. So that's the back plate now done. So just to recap in total, we've done fuel filter, air filters, spark plug. The gearbox has been cleaned out of old grease, and the new grease put in it, and just go around a general check, tighten up of any other parts that seem to be a bit loose. So that's good. Turn it round. Now this has not got a spark arrestor on it, so I don't need to do that. You could take the muffler off and burn it off, but it's good to me. I don't think it needs doing at all. It started up okay. It's not smoky, it's not bogging, it's not showing any signs of anything that it shouldn't be doing. So that's good, I'm happy with that. So next thing I want to do is just fire it back up. I'll take it outside and do it, and I'll give it a bit of a trim, see how these teeth are performing. They don't look too shabby, they might just want a bit of a tickle. He did say he hit something, but I'm not, as I say, I'm not seeing any evidence of that. From what I can see, no big chunk. So yeah, I'm going to take it out, fire it up, just give the old hedge a bit of a cut, see how it performs, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so it fired up pretty quick, and it cuts absolutely beautiful. Actually, it doesn't cut too bad at all. So I'm not seeing any signs of where he's hit anything, and it cuts fine on the front and on the whole blade itself. So in my opinion, the blade doesn't need doing. The teeth are fine, so that's fine. So that's that HS45 Stihl hedge trimmer, all serviced exactly how it should do. Spark plug gapped fully, new filters, air and fuel. Gearbox has been changed as well and tightened up, and it runs sweet as a nut. So super happy. Okay, so that's the HS45 Stihl hedge trimmer now all up, running, serviced. And he has said he's got a few jobs for it, so I'm happy to get it out to him. He was due back on the 17th, and it's now, I think, the 19th, so he'll be itching to get his trimmer back, so he can go down a few quid himself, so super happy with that. Just got to write him up an invoice for that, and he'll be good to go. So thank you very much for joining me in this episode of Micks Mowers. Hope you enjoyed it, hope you found it informative. Leave your comments, positive or negative, down below, I don't really mind. And don't forget to whack the old bell, and also hit the subscribe button if this is your first time in watching Micks Mowers. Also, down in the description you'll also find my wish list. If you wish to buy me anything for my channel, tools or parts, feel free to have a look. It's there for you if you want to do so. So thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next episode of Micks Mowers very soon. Until then, don't forget people, take it easy.